Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today's story is one of those moments that stops social media in its tracks, a single photograph that somehow says more about South Africa's deep cultural contrast than 100 political speeches ever could. It's about two powerful men, one a billionaire mining magnate with influence that stretches across the continent, and the other, a spiritual leader whose followers see him as a divine messenger. And between them stands a quiet, almost awkward moment that has now turned into a national debate about power, respect, and the meaning of tradition. The photo in question shows Dr. Patrice Motsepe, one of South Africa's richest men, meeting with the head of the Shembe Church, a respected spiritual figure from the Nazareth Baptist Church, or Ibandla Lomanazareth. The Shembe Church, founded by Isaiah Shembe back in 1910, is one of the largest African-initiated churches in the country, combining Zulu cultural traditions with Christian beliefs. Its leaders are not merely seen as pastors, to many, they are prophets. Followers often kneel before them as a sign of reverence and humility. But in this case, Motsepe did not kneel. In the image that spread across social media, Motsepe stands tall in a sharp blue suit, hands clasped, facing the Shembe leader who is dressed in a simple beige jacket. Around them are men in suits. The setting is polished, a marble-columned lobby, carpeted floors, everything perfectly modern. It's the kind of place where business and faith, money and tradition, seem to collide without warning. For most people scrolling through their feeds, it seemed like an ordinary photo, until another image surfaced. This second photo showed former President Jacob Zuma kneeling before the same Shembe leader, head bowed, dressed in a black suit under a white canopy. The Shembe leader sat regally, dressed in his traditional white robe, surrounded by his followers. It was the expected scene, a man of political power showing deference to spiritual authority. Zuma's posture was not unusual. Many politicians, from mayors to ministers, have knelt before Shembe elders over the years, seeking blessings and legitimacy from a faith with millions of devoted followers, especially in KwaZulu-Natal. And that's when the internet exploded. The two images, Motsepe standing while Zuma kneeled, were placed side by side, and suddenly South Africa had a new argument on its hands. On one side, some praised Motsepe's confidence, saying he represented a modern generation of African leaders who are not bound by old rituals. Others accused him of arrogance, claiming he disrespected one of the most sacred figures in Zulu religious life. One comment summed it up bluntly: money is power. Another replied, but culture is identity. It was a quiet clash of values that revealed much more than either photograph intended. Motsepe, the billionaire businessman known for his philanthropy, his connection to the ANC, and his influence in African corporate circles, appeared to many as a symbol of the country's economic elite, polished, powerful, and at ease in global boardrooms. The Shembe leader, by contrast, represented a spiritual lineage older than the South African state itself, a movement that survived colonialism, apartheid, and modern capitalism without losing its roots. In Zuma's photo, there's humility. In Motsepe's, there's confidence. And the debate that followed wasn't just about posture, it was about what those postures represent. South Africa, as we all know, is a country that constantly wrestles with the balance between tradition and modernity. In rural areas, kneeling before a chief or elder is still considered a sign of good upbringing. In the cities, it's often seen as outdated or unnecessary. But when it comes to the Shembe Church, the act of kneeling isn't just manners, it's theology. Followers believe that showing respect through physical submission is part of spiritual discipline. To them, the sight of a billionaire standing upright while meeting their leader felt like a quiet rebellion against divine order. And yet, to others, that same image was empowering. Some saw Motsepe as a symbol of equality, a man who could stand respectfully without bowing, showing that spiritual leaders and business leaders could meet eye to eye. One social media user put it this way: Motsepe didn't kneel, but he didn't disrespect anyone either. He showed that you can honor a man without lowering yourself physically. Of course, South Africa's love for symbolism made sure the conversation didn't stop there. Zuma's photo began circulating again, with people captioning it humility, while others called it performance. After all, Jacob Zuma's long association with traditional leaders and religious groups has always been part of his political strategy. He has often attended Shembe ceremonies, traditional Zulu events, and prayer gatherings, blending faith and politics in a way that his supporters find deeply authentic. Motsepe, on the other hand, is not known for religious theater. His power is quiet, boardroom-driven, and global. He doesn't campaign with traditional dancers or seek public blessings. He makes deals, funds projects, and influences decisions at the continental level. So when he stands, literally and figuratively, it speaks to a different kind of authority, one built on wealth, education, and corporate reach. What makes this so fascinating is how the public interpreted it. Some said, Zuma kneels because he needs spiritual protection. Motsepe stands because money is his protection. Others pointed out that Motsepe's family connections, being brother-in-law to President Cyril Ramaphosa, already place him in a unique power circle where spiritual validation isn't required. Still, the question lingers, should tradition bow to modernity, or should modernity learn to kneel? The Shembe Church itself has not commented officially on the photographs. But insiders within the church reportedly felt uneasy about the public reaction, insisting that respect can take many forms, and that both men conducted themselves with dignity. Yet, it's hard to deny the emotional pull of those images. Zuma's kneeling posture resonates with those who believe that spiritual power transcends wealth. Motsepe's upright stance appeals to those who believe that success and faith can coexist without submission. In the end, what this debate really reveals is South Africa's ongoing identity struggle. We are a nation that has tried to modernize without losing its soul, to embrace democracy without abandoning culture, and to celebrate success without forgetting humility. The two photos are not enemies, they're reflections of who we are, a people standing between old worlds and new ones, trying to honor both. So what do you think? Was Patrice Motsepe wrong for standing? Was Jacob Zuma right to kneel? Or are both men simply products of different worlds colliding in one fascinating country? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you found it insightful, share it with someone who loves these kinds of deep South African discussions, and of course, subscribe for more political and cultural analysis right here. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious, stay thoughtful, and stay informed. See you next time.